You want to address that contract?
I can just quickly say that this has been approved by Justin, our city attorney. We did look at it. District 3 is a quasi-governmental organization, and we work with them on a lot of our grant applications and other things with the city. So we already have some formal agreement with the city with District 3. So this is just a focus on the digital cemetery portion, and it has nothing to do with the overall arching agreement with District 3.
Okay. So we need a motion to approve that contract, and do we want to include the language we talked about, or just approve it in general?
Or can we address the supplemental language when it comes back?
This won't be coming back. This is unless you want us to get some edits to the contract. We're ready to move forward with this contract.
But the questions that we had, have they been addressed, and will they be part of that?
That'll be separate. Am I getting that right, Jason?
Yeah. But is that going to drive the cost up?
No, this is including all of that. Yeah.
So this is for the 28.5 and then the 2,000 maintenance, and that's what that is, and then you'll have something for the servicemen and the Catholics at a later date.
That's correct. Yep. Yep, this covers all of it.
I want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Good? Yep. So we need a motion to approve the digitizing of the cemetery.
So moved.
Terry?
Second.
Mark? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? We're good. Review the capital budget request.
I'll just quickly go over it, and I'll let Jason take over again. I'll just get through some administrative issues here. The way I set this up, let me get this on the board, I'm sorry. The way I've set this up, on the right-hand side, that would be how it's being funded. If it's blank, it would be a general fund request. If there's something there, it's for instance, this $18,000 here is a trade-in for the excavator. So it's $49,000 for a new one, and we would have an $18,000 trade-in. So the actual price would come down by $18,000. Here, this is an enterprise fund, so I'm assuming that we'll be able to cover those costs. I'm making an assumption here that the project that you determine that you want to do might have to come out of general fund. We may not be able to cover that in the operating costs. So we haven't done our budget yet, but we're making some assumptions early on here to start the discussion. And Jason can go through each one of his requests. And we don't know what project yet. We do have, remind me how much we have, $35,000 available.
I believe so, yeah.
For that project. So we'll tack that on to whatever is decided. Or we can do $35,000 project this year and just do a whole new project next year. It could go either way. It kind of depends on what it is that we're going to do. But I'll go ahead and let Jason take over on the equipment and what his needs are. If you have any other administrative questions, I'll try to answer those. Again, we don't have to turn this in till August 6th. This is early discussion. Next month we'll go to hopefully approve it, and then during that month we put it all into the budget and make the request on August 6th. So I'll let you take it over, Jason.
So the pull behind blower, that is, we have one already. The one we have was bought used. It's constantly using oil. I got to put new head gasket cover on it so we can even use it right now. So number one, to get a second one so that when we have a windstorm like we just had, we don't have one guy trying to stay ahead of the rest of the crew. And then if that one does blow up and we're waiting to put a new engine in it, we have 2 units going out or one good solid unit that we can depend on for a lot of years. And then some greens mowers to replace them. It cost $80,000 to do that, to get 2 of them. That's the total cost. We would have some trade-in value, but just deciding on which units I would want to trade in. Beyond that, I'm kind of waiting to see what direction we decide to go as far as with Kevin Norby and what we decide to do for projects before I finalize that. So, any questions on the golf course side?
The 2011s is the trade-in parentheses?
I think that's the plan, is to trade in I have 2 2011s.
You're using ones that are 10 years old?
Actually, I have 4 right now. The 2011s are the older ones. The 2013s is the one I mainly use. The 2013s have 2,200 hours on. The 2011s have 2,700 hours on them. So, but I've been having some problems with the 2011. So we're,
When you say problems, would it be like the hydraulic leaking, like on the greens?
luckily, I have not had that on the greens. We've had that on the number 11 or 10 tee box. We did have someone leave the gas cap going across number 14 green here a couple weeks ago. I'm sure you've all seen that. That was not a mechanical failure. That was a operator failure. We had a long discussion about that with the crew the next day, so hopefully that doesn't happen again. The greens mowers I'm looking at are not all electric, but the reels would be electrically driven. It eliminates about half the hydraulic hoses on the machine, so drastically reduces the risk of hydraulic leaks. So, and they're typically not in the areas where it's up and down and everything. So it's to the wheels, so it's solid. It's to the steering, which is solid, and then so.
What year are these that you're looking at?
They'd be brand new. So.
Are you okay on rough mowers?
There again, we're kind of waiting to see before we make a final decision on what we're going to ask for, kind of what we want to, where we want to be, with having to decide at the next board meeting. It makes it a little difficult, but we can throw something in at the very end up until August 6th. So.
Gotcha.
So, no questions on the golf course side? Okay. On the cemetery side, the current excavator is a 2001. It does only have 2,600 hours on it, but it's kind of the one thing we cannot afford to break down. We don't have a backup. We don't have nothing. The current one is working fine, but it's kind of one of those things. It still has some value. So we'd be looking at about 30,000. We demoed one from, and it was faster. It was longer boom, so if we have to do a double deep grave, we can more easily do that. And reach over stones would be a little more. So in the long run, hopefully it's not going to pay for itself just because of those features, but it's going to help things. So instead of going across the cemetery at 2.5 miles an hour, it might be 2 3/4 miles an hour. So which doesn't sound like much, but when you're in it, it makes a big difference. So.
So when you do double D, they just stack right on top of each other?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So when the first one goes
You don't
down,
want to be on the bottom.
so the first one goes down about 8 feet, and then when the second one is being buried, we dig down to it, to that first one, and just goes right on top.
All right.
Sounds like fun.
Sounds like you better be careful with that excavator.
So, and then, no questions on that. We're going to look at replacing the siding and insulate the front of the shop. After we did the project on the office area, it made the rest of it look pretty shabby. So we're going to, I got a quote from Riggs for $13,500, and that would tear off all the front of the siding on the front of the building, would spray foam insulate the heated part of the shop. We would go from 3 windows to 2 windows, and then it would redo the trim around the doors and all that. So we're looking at $16,000 for road overlay and repairs for the sections that were not done 2 years ago. So that number might have to be adjusted because that was for this year. We're going to see about trying to get that done, so I might have to bump that up a little bit. And that would be doing a little bit on what was just done 2 years ago, just some cracks and just some touch up on that. So, and then the $15,000 for 2 mowers. And yes, they are used mowers, but these mowers are narrower and they allow you to have an offset deck. The newer mowers are wider and they do not give you the option of an offset deck. So the offset deck is for tucking in between graves and everything, and that it is tedious work. And if you have that little bit of offset, it makes it easier to tuck in and out and everything. So this is the last year of 228s, or the last year that's an option. So that's why I'm asking for you. So, and you got to find them. So trying to find them with low hours is interesting. As of right now, that's what we're going to ask for. So.
If Jason would just need direction, if he's on the right path, that'd be great. If there's something you'd like to add now, now's a good time to talk about it, and we can bring it back next month. If you like it the way it is right now, just ask that you take an action to table it until next month, and we'll bring back a project.
I think we'll be a lot smarter next month.
Yep. And we can edit it next month too. So if you have something you come up with, think of something, let Jason know, and we'll get it on here.
Do we need to officially table it?
Yes.
Okay. Need a motion to table the draft request.
I'll make the motion.
Lynn?
Second.
Brian? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It's tabled. Refund request.
We had a gentleman, I won't say his name, but he's having some medical issues. He contacted us a couple weeks ago already. He paid for a couple's membership. He has a cart storage and trail fee. He wants to keep that. He would like to trade $825 for his couple's membership and just go to a punch card. He's not able to golf, not able to get around anymore. So hopefully that changes for him someday. But so
Has he played?
he played once.
So he just wants to change for punch cards?
He wants to, so get a $200 punch card and get a refund for $625 is what his request is.
He's played once.
He's played once.
But then.
So I'm assuming the punch-
One round.
What's that?
You do this, then you punch off one round that he's played.
I think he would be okay with that, so. That's the request. And I mean, we're getting to the point where it's got to be extreme circumstances to be considering anything anymore, so.
Well, it's obvious since he only played one, that it's extreme.
Yeah.
So,
Yep,
Because that's kind of what we did with another
Yeah.
couple, wasn't it?
Yep.
Something similar.
yep. So,
I don't see any problem.
I don't either.
I make a motion to make that.
good.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Good. Next meeting date is the 13th.
It'll actually be the 22nd. We're going to meet on the,
Oh, that's right.
yeah.
Yep. 6/22, which is a,
Wednesday.
Read it
Or
here.
Tuesday.
Yeah, lunchtime.
at what time?
11:30.
11:30. If you can make it for 11:30, we'll have a meal.
The meeting will start at
Noon. Yep. Yep.
And then the following will be 7/13.
7/13. We are adjourned. Don't have to. I learned that was that.